Is this agreement worrying China? A large impact on the relationship between China, U.S. and Vietnam. All the bombs and all the sounds of war because there wasn't enough level of trust. Did not sign that agreement. Is Vietnam ready to play along? Try to take advantage of the agreement, the increasing cost. I don't want to go to America, but the real question is, should you invest in Vietnam? Is Vietnam doing the tango with the United States while also doing the dragon dance with China? So remember in our last video where we raised eyebrows regarding China's massive 36 agreement with Vietnam. Tango, that's what Vietnam is doing with the United States. As of September 2023, President Joe Biden and General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng signed a comprehensive strategic partnership agreement that outlines the next 10 to 20 years of relationships between the U.S. and Vietnam. And we are going to see what is behind this comprehensive agreement and who will be benefiting from it. So, is Vietnam performing a diplomatic ballet, dancing with both China and the U.S.? But is this agreement worrying China as well? So join us in this video today where we will talk about the details with every step, spin, and turn, with possibly having a very large impact on the relationship between China, U.S., and Vietnam. So as a person who was born in Vietnam in 1981, came to the United States in 1983, fully educated in the U.S., lived there for 30 years and 10 years in Vietnam, with over 15 years of experience as a California attorney, bilingual, bicultural U.S. and Vietnam, I am in a great position to be able to help and take advantage of this agreement. And that is what we're going to talk to you about today, to go into the details of the comprehensive strategic partnership agreement between the U.S. and Vietnam. 50,000, that is the magic number for 2024, and that's the subscriber base we want to have. We're at about 36,000 now, growing at roughly about 8%, but we need to get to 50,000. So if you're watching this video and you're part of the 70% who are not subscribed, that's telling YouTube that we are not interesting content for you. So just to make it happen for us, and we want to thank you in advance, and it takes 2 seconds to click subscribe, and it's free. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we want to say thank you very much. Now, let's get back to the video. So let's look back at the history of U.S. and Vietnam. So the war ended in 1975, and all the bombs and all the sounds of war have ended. In 1985, Vietnam implemented Đời Mới, but only until 10 years after that, in 1995, when U.S. and Vietnam normalized relationships where U.S. can actually come, trade, and work in Vietnam. Then in 2001, U.S. and Vietnam signed a bilateral trade agreement to start working together, to start opening up the country of Vietnam to different relationships. However, that didn't amount to very much business between the two countries because there wasn't enough level of trust. In 2007, when Vietnam decided to join the WTO, or World Trade Organization, that helped with a lot of the regulations regarding intellectual property, state disputes as well, and other areas that help for U.S. companies to be more comfortable investing into Vietnam. And then in 2023, roughly about 10 years ago, U.S. joined in the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement discussions. And Vietnam really wanted the U.S. to join because that's a relationship that's very tight. However, there were 11 other countries as well in this agreement. And fast forward a little bit, in 2015, the United States decided they were going to move forward with the ratification of the TPP. However, as you know, in 2016, President Trump came into office and did not sign that agreement, and thus that ended for the TPP. However, Vietnam and the United States in 2023 signed the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership Agreement, which is the highest level of relationship between the two countries. And the U.S. only has signed with 4 other countries. So if you look at back from 1975 until 2023, the historical background of why it's very important to look at this bilateral trade between the U.S. and Vietnam right now. So under President Joe Biden's watch, it's no longer a one-tone note regarding defense. It's more of a symphony and a balance between military might and collaboration. So with that said, is Vietnam ready to play along? And the answer is yes. So picture this. The U.S. and Vietnam are composing an economic masterpiece. From high-tech investments to green farming, a duo that is harmonizing the needs of tomorrow with the innovations of today. And the crescendo, this is a partnership that is not just driven by profits, but by progress as well. So both countries are buying a lot from each other. This not only helps the Vietnamese exporter, but also helps the American businesses save on costs and doing business here in Southeast Asia. In fact, Vietnam was the U.S.'s 7th largest trading partner with an increase of exports of 25.2%, which accounted for 3.9% of all of the U.S.'s import for that year. This strategic partnership also addresses a few other important issues in Vietnam, such as infrastructure development, farming and agricultural or sustainable agricultural farming. Also to provide and incentivize more women to do business locally in Vietnam and also globally, including the United States. And of course, clean energy, climate change, and sustainability within the renewable energy space. As of 2023, the bilateral trade between U.S. and Vietnam surged to a whopping $138 billion, much more than the minuscule $450 million that was achieved in 1995. And this number will continue to grow as the U.S. has committed to over $1 trillion of direct and indirect investment into the Vietnamese economy in the next 10 years. One of the overarching goals of the future is focus on technology. So the U.S. knows that computer parts, electronics, and equipment from Vietnam are crucial, but also to bring the technology and the training and the know-how to the Vietnamese people as well. This symbiotic relationship of transfer of knowledge and information will continue to help the two countries be global market players and move up in the high-tech manufacturing as opposed to what Vietnam is doing now. Another area that is improving between the ties of U.S. and Vietnam is security and defense, both online and offline as well. The U.S. continues to provide Vietnam with defense and military training, intelligence, and also other tools worth $9 million to improve the cybersecurity protection, the safety of people online and offline, and also to try to prevent human trafficking. Another important aspect of the agreement is the human connection. The United States has always been a place for the Vietnamese to study abroad, doing various different international programs in the United States. There are roughly about over 30,000 students every year that study in the United States, and with the CSPA, that will continue to grow, and hopefully with more scholarships as well for the students. The U.S. has a focus for Vietnam, especially in the STEAM areas, including science, technology, engineering, and applied mathematics. And these skills will help the students of Vietnam continue to develop their own country. In fact, the U.S. has invested $12.75 million into these programs for Vietnam through many of its educational-based programs inside Vietnam right now. Another area of importance between the two countries are the environment and healthcare. They have come up with many projects throughout the years and continue to create new projects, such as the $11.41 million investment into the Mekong Delta to protect the environment and against salination and erosion as well. Also, in Can Hoa province, a energy or stored energy project working on healthcare programs to keep people safe from diseases. Also, workshops or partnerships for cancer treatment and awareness. And finally, hosting programs in order to bring the importance of healthcare in Vietnam. Even in the context of all these economic reforms and developments, the U.S. still acknowledges the scars of the war and the wounds as well, including the dioxin contamination and also the disabilities that were created from some of the toxins that were produced during the war. So in light of this historic signing of the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership Agreement, I think I found my why I was born. To be honest, there were many times that I tried to take advantage of the agreement, including when I was 2 years old and told my mom I don't want to go to America, and she didn't listen, so I went to America. And then in 1999, when I graduated from high school, I said I have to come to Vietnam for the first time to see what this country is all about. And then another time in 2013, when the U.S. came into the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, I had to come to Vietnam. And then of course Trump came into power and I didn't get to take advantage of the TPP. But finally, here in 2023, now 24, the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership Agreement has established myself and all the work that I've done all these years to become the foremost expert on U.S.-Vietnam bilateral trade. So when anytime one of you thinks about Vietnam, you'll think of me and Duong Global. And any Vietnamese who thinks about going to the U.S. will think of me and Duong Global. So I am excited and optimistic about the next 50 years of Vietnam's development, and I will live another 50 years to make it happen for the people of Vietnam, for the businesses and people of the United States. So with that said, I am as happy as you are, and now I will go into some of the details of how we can take advantage economically, socially, and politically of this current agreement between the U.S. and Vietnam. But the real question is, should you invest in Vietnam? As many large U.S. corporations are setting up offices, factories, and businesses in Vietnam, also moving away from China due to the many benefits of Vietnam and the increasing costs in China. And now, especially with the CSPA being signed, the encouragement of the U.S. government to help small, medium enterprises and large corporations to invest into Vietnam, us being an American and Vietnamese law firm here, we are definitely positioned, and we've helped a lot of companies, but we are poised to continue to help you explore the legal, finance, and business landscape in Vietnam. So if you want to open up a company in Vietnam, you can start from a small $20,000 investment, even up to a $20 million investment. With over 15 years of experience working in the Vietnam market and helping hundreds of companies come here, we are especially poised to help you, especially an American company coming into Vietnam. As I'm a bilingual attorney, bicultural, and having lived in the U.S. for 30 years and 10 years in Vietnam, training my staff globally to understand the nuances of the American culture and the nuances of the Vietnamese culture. So don't hesitate to contact us if you want to open up a small or a large company in Vietnam and continue to expand as you grow. But if you're still hesitant about opening up business in Vietnam, or you don't have enough information, we've made tons of videos and many playlists. So you can click on any one of those videos to watch about how to invest in Vietnam, how to open a factory, what are the taxes, what is the healthcare, and 100 other questions that you may have. But of course, if you also want a tailored consultation from me or one of our team members here in Southeast Asia, please book with us and we'll give you a tailored solution to just your problem. So in the end, this global partnership would definitely help the two countries to continue to develop economically, financially, socially, and politically as well. And we want to be at the forefront of that opportunity. But we also want to know what your thoughts are on the CSPA. Let us know in the comments below about the impacts, about your current experience. If you plan to expand your business in Vietnam as well, we'd be happy to help. So as always, on behalf of Duong Global, my name is Ken Duong. Thank you very much for watching this video about the CSPA. But make sure you like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow our TikTok and Instagram as well, and click on the bell for notifications. But of course, the best thing to do is subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you very much for watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one.